Toronto Maple Leafs lose Game 3 in heartbreaking fashion. And quite frankly, this can't keep happening. Whether you want to say it was major mistakes by the Leafs, whether you want to say it's because William Nylander was out, or some bad luck, or maybe a combination of the three, the Toronto Maple Leafs lost at home. Their first game, I guess their Game 1 at home, if you want to put it that way. And Darius, we have a lot to say. You have a lot to say. A very unfortunate game, a very winnable game if you were the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Bruins did not play their best hockey, neither did the Leafs. The Bruins definitely weren't playing their best hockey. So many opportunities. Jeremy Swayman put on a bit of a masterclass there. And right when the Leafs tied it up at 2 and we thought our hopes were high, we experienced the Toronto Maple Leafs full playoff experience. And Brad Marchand, of all people, who praised the Leafs earlier today or yesterday, put in a goal. Darius, 3-2 loss. We move on. It is sad. It's the way it goes, though. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'm sad. We're sad. We're all sad.
Where do we start? And we got a couple people in here already. Thank you all for tuning in. But where do we even start with tonight? It started terribly. You got Simone Benoit shooting it over the glass like 12 seconds into the game. They get a penalty right away. And then just from there, I mean, it was looking good. The Leafs were dominating 5-on-5 play. I thought they were playing pretty well. And then, stupid things happen. Marner played well. I thought he played a pretty good game as well. I don't know if you would agree with that, Nick, I don't know if anyone else would agree with that. I thought he had moments. He had moments, which is good. Better than no moments. But yeah, I mean, that's got to get better still. I think that's still got to get better. And then it just got ridiculous. The 1-1 tying goal. I mean, we can talk about the refs all we want, and I'm sure we will if we want to get into that right now. But holy smokes, guys, the Leafs got to score on the power play here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things to go over, and we can start. I mean, what's up, Raptor? What's up, Chris? Hey, boys, what's going on? Happening here crazy. Leafs take the stupidest penalties. Let's start with the sequence that led to the Bruins' second goal. After the
it was the first goal.
All the goals. The first goal, whatever one it was, where there was arguably two penalties, definitely one on Austin Matthews. That was a clear, you could call it a hold, you could have called it a tripping, you could have called it anything you wanted. It was one of the most obvious penalties, or obvious no calls that I've seen in a while. It is the playoffs, so that's not saying too much, but that one was obvious. And then you had the one, I believe it was Bertuzzi. That one was a bit more up in the air because I agree with you there. They both kind of were going down. That one I could call a double penalty in both of them. You could have called it nothing, but I think the play should have been blown down regardless. But the Matthews one is objectively should have been a penalty, and the announcers were going at the referees, which were pretty bad. That being said, I'm not in the business. I'm not going to stand here and say the Leafs lost because of that or they lost because of the referees. They lost because their power play is terrible. Samsonov, shout out to him. He did good. The defense, it's okay. A lot of turnovers, a lot of things like that. You look at the stats here, and there's not necessarily one player like to really pick out. There are some that we'll definitely get into, but Samsonov played good. Marner finally played okay. But again, the refs, one horrible call. They did not cost the Leafs the game. And anyone who thinks that is, I understand it because the refs are fun to blame. But
just to make it clear, because you're saying it right now, and just to make it crystal clear, we are not saying the refs cost the Leafs this game. All right, we are not saying that.
Power play
That's
is
not
terrible.
the case.
Over 5.
However, when they do get these opportunities, over 5 on the power play. What happened to this monster power play that the Leafs had? Gone with the wind. They're not here. They disappeared. I don't know where they are, but they're not scoring goals, and you're not going to win hockey games that way. I don't care if it's regular season or playoffs. You're not going to win hockey games. And when you're given 5 power plays in a game, you have to score on one. To get back to that sequence, though, I feel like there's a bit of ridiculousness in that sequence, all right? The play should have been blown dead at the Matthews thing. First of all, that's a penalty. First of all right? That he RKO'd the guy. Like, that was WWE stuff right there. That was WWE right there. That's not hockey. So the play should have been blown dead. Play goes the other way. Bertuzzi and Marchand are battling. I honestly have no problem with that. Even Marchand getting the last word there. I feel like battles like that happen all the time. That's fine. Maybe you take both, but they didn't take any. That's fine. But the play, it was all on the same play. Frederick should have never been able to score there because that play should have been dead. But I'm not blaming the refs or anything that there's no call and that's why the Leafs lost or whatever. You got to score on the power play. Imagine you score on half your power plays. You win that game. It's over. Yeah. So there you go.
Bruins Digest Rip Leafs. Yeah, get out of here. I mean,
hey, it's a long series.
Game three. Bruins Digest. You got bailed. No, I'm just kidding. The Leafs are terrible. They're not terrible. That was a terrible game. I mean, the team. It's a bad time. The Leafs they'll be okay. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But
Yeah.
to kind of put a button on that, yeah, really bad. One of the worst no calls I've seen, or no whistles. I'll even just say no whistles I've seen in a while. That led to a pretty weak goal by Samsung. I don't know if he was distracted because he thought that the play was going to be dead.
There was a lot going on there.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, but on the power plays and even just in general, the Leafs did have a good few chances to score, and they couldn't. You saw a few times where, I don't even know, they shot the puck, it hit off the guy's knee. You saw where it was somehow just miraculously didn't go in. There was like 5 times, even at the end there when their goalie was pulled, and then you got the penalty, and then everything. At that point, the game was over. But man, it is frustrating. It is frustrating to watch. And Marner, yeah, he's not playing like a $10 million player, but he played more serviceable this game than he did the past 2 games, which is really not the standard we should hold him to. But compared to what he has been doing, he had a better. He set up the goal for Matthew Nyes. Like he was the reason they scored that goal. But yeah, well, I'm so lost.
It's a little ridiculous, I think.
We're all in the same network. Shake, yes. Sorry, someone pointed that out.
Yeah. I think it's a little ridiculous that, like you said, Mitch Marner is a $11 million player, like 10.9 or whatever it is, and he cannot generate play on his line. What is happening here? Like it's really shocking what's happening so far in this playoff series with Mitch Marner. And it's not shocking at the same time because we've seen it year after year, and then he comes into this year and the same thing is happening. And then they talk about it on the panel, and even everyone on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it is saying, okay, in game 3 he has a little bit more jump. That's great. Oh, he's playing great, right? No, he's got to play like a $11 million player. He's got to be able to take over a game. And Matthews didn't score again today, right? But I thought he had a pretty good game all around the ice. A couple guys had a pretty good game. Edmondson had the game of his life. I've never seen that guy play that well.
He also set up Matthew Nyes' goal. That was both of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, great play. But again, I think the standard for certain guys has to be higher because, in a way, your salary is holding the rest of the construction of the team back. So you do have to pull your weight if you want all that money, right? But this has been the story. Like, this is not a story to talk about after game 3 of the first round against the Bruins in 2024. This is a story for the summer because holy smokes, this has been the whole thing the whole time. It's crazy.
We have all the digests coming in. Yeah, we're all run by the same network, just in case everyone is curious. I know someone asked. All run by the same network, same company. Boston owns Toronto. Yeah,
bold statement.
Yep. Anyways, enough of that. Say goodbye to the coach. Say goodbye to the coach getting fired soon. Marner is a very weak player in the playoffs. Toronto Maple Leafs head coach needs to do something. Wow, what do you think of Marner's game? Yeah, we kind of discussed that.
Yeah. Can I bring something up actually, Nick, and get your thoughts too, and I guess the whole chat. Jeremy Swayman, how are you? Like, what a game from the guy, unbelievable, and completely stopped the Leafs. Where still on the Leafs side, you got to score on those power plays, but he held it down for the Bruins, man. I feel like the Bruins did not deserve to walk away with that game.
I messaged you that mid game, and they have 2 goalies that are better than the Leafs' main goalie, arguably.
You can make the argument.
That's not even to throw shade on Samsonov. He's had a pretty good series so far.
Yep.
But he kind of won them the game. He kind of stole the game. I mean, the Leafs. I don't know if I could say they deserved to win because they obviously didn't. But
they played well.
It doesn't look like the gap between these 2 teams is really anything or big whatsoever. Like the Leafs should be able to win. They should be able to win. They look like I'm not saying they look like the better team. But they look very comparable. Like. It's obviously a coin flip, 2 very even teams, but you're looking at the stats now. I mean, Bertuzzi had a goal, Nyes had a goal, Matthews is pretty quiet there. He had an okay game. He had 8 hits, he's throwing his body around. But yeah, and the Marner's thing, everyone's talking about his contract. That's going to be a conversation for the offseason. We're only in game 3. We're only down 2-1. There's still a lot more games left.
The discussions should be more on. Like, everyone's talking about fire the coach, which, guys, it's not going to happen until the offseason.
Habs Digest coming in here.
Come on, here's Habs Digest. When did your season end? But
yeah.
What's
you're looking at the draft. You're looking at the draft.
Exactly, yeah. What nobody's talking about too, fire the coach, Mitch Marner, all this stuff, right? The special teams are terrible. The Bruins are capitalizing on their power plays, right? We saw it again tonight, and the Leafs are not, right? And that tells the story of the game. The Bruins are capitalizing on their chances. The Leafs are not. I feel like the Leafs are the better team at 5-5 for the better part of 3 games in this series, and they just aren't getting it done. And this whole narrative of the Leafs and they need better defense and they need better goalie and all that stuff, and 2 goalies, whatever, 3 goalies.
Doesn't matter if you can't score on the power play anyway.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Like these guys are making $10 million plus, and their issue is scoring. It's so mind boggling. And it goes back not just this year, to last year, the year before. Their issue is now scoring. It blows my mind.
Yep, it blows a lot of our minds. I would say Nylander. If Nylander gets 11.5 for his Nylander for his extension, Marner's gonna ask for Matthews money. Yeah, I mean I'm not even gonna worry about what Marner's gonna ask for.
I feel like the construction. I mean, we're worried too much about that.
If they lose this series, he's gone almost surely. But
you would think the construction of the team is changing.
I don't want to get that far ahead because
sure.
They're still in the playoff. They can win. They can win the next game, and then everyone will be, oh yes, the Leafs are.
It's back up.
We're back. That's how it always goes, and that's how we're gonna be as well. How can they beat Boston when the refs literally dictated that entire game? They dictated one play that definitely should have been, but like.
Here's how I feel about it.
They can't. Even if the refs gave them the penalties, they can't score anyway. So it's not like
exactly. The Leafs were given their opportunities, but and I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying that the refs dictated the game. I find that every time I don't watch Bruins series outside of when they play the Leafs, right? I just don't.
Yeah, who would do that?
But when they play the Leafs, the last couple series, I find that the refs, or it just seems the Bruins play style, one game is dictated towards the Bruins play style, and they kind of get away with more of that stuff. Maybe this is the one that they're spotted in that way. Maybe this is the one, right? And you just got to play on top of it. I'm always of that mindset that it doesn't matter what happens, just keep playing, play on top of it, play your game. And I don't know if they did that tonight, so I can't let that dictate. But that was a big momentum shift in the game, man. I have to say,
yeah,
it was.
Chris saying win the puck battles, least brutal plays. Paul saying they had 5 power plays, they should have scored at least 1, probably 2 goals. Can't win without your power play firing. I mean, yeah, that's what it comes down to. Is that, and I mean. They also were a bit sloppy on in general. Yep. Like they don't look
nervous.
Yeah, they don't look, which makes sense. Obviously, it was their first game in front of the home crowd of this series, but they didn't look as comfortable as they did last game, which is something that they looked more like game 1 than they did game 2, which is, and they don't have Nylander, which again is a big thing to discuss as well. And he would certainly help with the power play. Would he make a difference? Yes. Will he be the be all end all? I don't know. I don't know. Marchand had a great game coming after that. Benoit had a great game. Edmondson had a masterclass game. Labushkin looks a bit lost, but that's fine. It is what it is.
At times, yeah. But I don't know. I feel
he's
like
not there to do anything.
He wasn't exactly. He did draw a really nice penalty actually in the first period.
It's hard to watch him play with the puck though. It is
a little bit, yeah. That was like one play that really caught me by surprise. To get back to Edmondson, I mean, I feel like we should maybe dissect the game in a positive way too, because going forward, the series is not done, right? I feel like we've been a little negative.
Yeah, Edmondson was great.
Like they lost. Edmondson was great. Set up a goal. He was blocking shots. I mean, he saved the goal, throwing hits. He's pinning guys, protecting the front of the net, like as advertised. He's doing everything. So he's been great.
Benoit
Throwing the train. That one shift in the first period was fantastic too. Reeves bowling guys over, and then Benoit coming in.
Train's left. Train's left the station, but we're still here.
Train has left the station, and another storyline in this series too. Pasternak's been pretty quiet.
He's been mid.
The Leafs have not been able to capitalize.
I mean, the fact that Pasternak's been out. He had an assist tonight, or not been out. He's not been out. He is. He hasn't been. Hasn't been playing great. I mean, if you're a Leafs fan, that could be scary because obviously they're not. I mean, I think at this point, when you look at it, both teams are not playing to their capabilities really at all.
I think that's playoffs too, though.
Yeah,
because it's such a game of that, like the matching, the line matching, and all that. I think that plays into it. So they're doing a good job.
And I wonder now if Jeremy Swayman is going to get the nod. I know they've been doing the alternating thing for 29 games in a row, but after that game, I mean, obviously Ullmark played great too, but you maybe just put. I mean, if I was them, I'd probably put Swayman back out there. I mean, he dominated.
I would agree.
He dominated.
It could mess with their psyche a little bit too, though. They've just been doing the same thing.
One of the commentators said that the Nylander injury was his back. So
there's so much speculation.
We'll have another video probably on that tomorrow to discuss.
Yeah, there's another topic of discussion. Yeah, there's so much speculation out there.
Raptors Digest, Nylander return Leafs in 6. Possible.
I think return is imminent at this point. I mean, he skated regular line rushes this morning, so
very imminent.
I don't know. I think all of it is speculation at this point. We heard head this morning. So what are we to do but guess at this point, right? And who knows when he's coming back? So. We will see. But I think obviously a huge part of this team. But is him being out? Is it the reason the Leafs are losing? You're kidding yourself if you think that. I think
there's a few reasons they're losing, and I mean we could make a nice list if we wanted to.
Sure.
If I could have my notepad up. The power play, bad.
Yep.
Yeah, Mitch Marner
Looked
bad.
He played better. He played better today, but I think we have to hold him to a higher standard. That's what it is.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Power play, bad. Mitch Marner is not playing to the level he needs to if we want to go far in the playoffs. Okay, I'll stick with that.
Sure.
And Nylander being out, I don't think that's the reason we're losing. We can win this series without him, but it's definitely. I feel like this is all a big. I don't know how much of it is a distraction for the players, but like this seems like such a big distraction. Everyone thought Nylander's be back. The players are speaking out like he's gonna play every single time before the game. I forget who it was before the game today, but they basically said like he looks great, he looks ready to go, and then they scratch him again. And that's not to say that Nick Robertson is. He hasn't been playing great. He hasn't been doing bad. He's been playing like 7 to 9 minutes a game.
He's just not William Nylander.
Yeah, I was gonna say I took the words out of my mouth. No William Nylander.
Sorry, Nick.
I don't know. No, you're. I don't know. It's a tough loss. Like you don't really know where to go. I mean, where you go from here is you're good enough to beat them. It's not domination of any sorts like we may have seen in previous years where the team just looks completely checked out and things like that. But I'm gonna read some of the chat. Doesn't the coach believe in shortening the bench down one with 6 minutes to go?
I think he did kind of do that. You saw Yarncroke take a shift with the fourth line, and the only reason he is playing the fourth line is because he trusts them. And I think I trust them as well. And you got to give your top guys a rest because you're going to rely heavily on a mixture in the last minute of the first two lines. So who else are you going to play? The third line for the last 4 minutes? You can't.
TJ saying it's becoming a massive distraction, the Nylander thing. I mean,
I think it is. For
us, it definitely is.
Absolutely. That's all anyone's talking about. Look at the distraction this morning when they went out for morning skate and all the disinformation that was coming out while they're on the ice. Like, just wait for Keith to say what's happening.
They shouldn't even be getting asked questions about an injury at this point. They should be the players should be getting asked questions about how you're going to prepare to beat the Boston Bruins. Bruins Dodgers saying Swayman game 4 for sure. They got to. You feel like they have.
You would think at this point, yeah, you.
They have a streak going. I put Matt Murray in game 4. I don't think it's on Samsonov.
That's not on the table.
He's doing about as good as he could have. Like if you told me that he hasn't been doing amazing, but it's Ilya Samsonov we're talking about here. Obviously,
I think he's doing
sorry
to cut you off.
As good as he could be doing, given the circumstances, I think.
Yeah, he's making the saves he needs to make, but I feel like he's not stealing saves, if that makes sense. Like
which makes sense because he is a average goalie. I mean, he's an average goalie. He's
like
top 15
if you look the other way.
15th best.
Yeah, no,
maybe.
he is. His stats lend to him being average.
And these are games where these are the games now. Maybe not necessarily this one where if you have an elite goalie, maybe you steal it like the Boston Bruins did. Jeremy Salmon's a very, very good goalie, and he was the one. You could say that was one of the differences of the goaltending, but like the team is built knowing this, and they're built with paying tens of millions of dollars to their players to outscore the other team, even given this goaltending thing. Because they're never going to have a top goalie unless they make a blockbuster trade. It's just not going to happen. They obviously...
Well, they may have one on the way, but that might take a little while. But there could be one on the way. But I wouldn't... You can't rely on that right now. So,
a few goalies. Hildeby, some other ones as well.
Yeah. There was a lot of talk today about... Hey, did you know that Swayman's from Alaska? I think they mentioned it 50 times tonight, but he's from Alaska. So that was interesting. Didn't know that. Fun fact. But now I know everything about him, and he's a great goalie. Kudos to Swayman.
Going under the radar, too. Yeah, kudos to Swayman. Is Bobby McMahon. His absence has been...
Nobody's talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, his absence has been a little bit felt, I think. I think his absence is being felt. Stephen Euler with the super chat. We do have an animation. This is the first super chat of the playoffs, Steven, so we're going to give you major props for that. We have the animation coming out. It is awesome, Matthews. Thank you so much. Let's read it. This may sound silly, but the 8 p.m. start on a Saturday has me worried because if memory serves me correctly, the Leafs over the last few years have a hard time with games that start later than 7 p.m. The 8 p.m. start has me worried as well because that is horrible timing for me on a Saturday night. But we'll leave that one out there. For 8 p.m. on a Saturday, Darius. Honestly, at this point, I could see anything messing with this team's like mojo. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a lack of preparation. I don't know if it's just...
Well, look at if you look at their track record, like afternoon games, not good. They played I think a 5 p.m. game against Carolina this year, not good, right? So if it's just not at 7, I don't know what it is. They're just not ready for it.
It's a really good point.
And in game 1, Saturday, 8 p.m., didn't go well, game 1. So hopefully this one does. Hopefully they can break a little bit of whatever that curse is, but
thank you so much.
Start times.
Steven, thank you so much for that. Hit the like button as well if you're new to this. Steven, I'm going to throw it up one more time for you. Darius, I have something interesting to propose to you here. It's not really a proposal. This is what worries me more about just the loss is that now you look at the Leafs situation, and the Nylander thing is still up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
You're down now in the series in front of your home crowd. If you lose the next game, you're going back to Boston down 3-1 after losing both games at home. Like this, I mean, the next game is not a must win, but it is as close to a must win as you're going to get. And that it terrifies me. If you just watching this team play this is a much when the Jays lose too.
Not great. Not great. Yeah.
Whatever.
To go off what you were saying, I think we've seen it the last couple of times the Bruins have played the Leafs in the playoffs. And we saw it last year for the Bruins. I think in a weird way, and maybe I'm being optimistic here, the pressure shifts to the Bruins if they go up 3-1. Big time. Because now they got to close out the
3-1.
series.
Yeah.
They got to close out the series on home ice, right? And if they don't, you come back to Toronto. And we've seen it. The Leafs can push it to 7 being down 3-1. It's just what happens in game 7 is the issue for the Leafs. But I think the pressure would switch back to the Bruins because they didn't do it last year. They were up 3-1 too. They didn't do it. And they were the best team literally ever. Literally ever they were the best team last year.
You are right. That being said, I don't know. Maybe that's some
Wouldn't
of the.
feel good about it.
Yeah, maybe that's some of the. That's our Leafs fan delusion, I think. Speaking. I mean, if they go down 3-0, I think they're toast, and that's not because we've seen them come back from 3-1 in the past, but I just don't know how they do it against. I think the Bruins are too good to go down 3-1 against. I can't see them because of how good their goaltending is. Them losing. If they have a bad game from a goalie, they can just switch to a goalie equally as good in the next game.
It's pretty
So it's and that's a big issue. We saw that in the Avalanche series. Georgiev obviously had a horrible game the first one, and he came back the second one because they had to. He obviously played well, but they don't have as much room to. And that's literally the difference between goalies at this point of the year is most teams in the playoffs who got to this point have goalies that will make the saves, like the normal saves, but it's about goalies who are going to steal you games. And Jeremy Swayman stole the Bruins a game, taking nothing away from Samsonov. He couldn't have really done anything about a lot of the goals. One of them was pretty weak, but I mean that's bound to happen. And if the Leafs actually go out and do what they're supposed to do, which is score goals in the power play, we talked about the refs. They had 5 power play chances. They went 0 for 5, and none of them looked particularly great aside from a few chances, and even those weren't those were more scrambles in front rather than great amazing puck movement into a snipe. Yeah, it was a scramble in front. Leafs and 6 are winning the next 3. They need to win the next game, and that's why Saturday, which is 3 days away, that's when the next game is. Saturday? Yeah, right. So that's going to be terrifying, but the bright side is that I don't know. There's not really a bright side. We're going to win it. That's the bright side.
I think the worst part for fans after this loss and the gap of games, because the next game is Saturday, is now you have to watch Marchand highlights for the next 3 days.
No. You get to watch our videos for the next.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah. But in between, you watch those highlights, right? So, of course. And we're going to have lots for you. So it's going to be fun. But I put the goal in the thumbnail, so that's probably not given. Right. The goal is in the thumbnail.
Now, the question switches to or shifts pretty quickly now to William Nylander and his health coming back, which I'm sure we'll get an update. We probably won't get an update tomorrow. We might get an update Friday. And we probably really won't get an update until Saturday, so that's a couple days away. And to be quite honest with you, the gap is hurting. The gap sucks.
You know what I find interesting? Because this gap, the Leafs are going to practice at least one day. I don't know if it's tomorrow or maybe Friday. But what I find interesting too, Nick, that I just thought of when you brought that up, is the Leafs haven't practiced in the duration of the series so far. They had an off day after game 1 just to reset. They played the next game the next day.
It's been nonstop.
I don't think they practiced yesterday, and then they're on the ice again today for game 3. So maybe they need to work on some things like the power play. That would help. And it's true. I just saw here in the chat too, the story of the series is all about penalties. And it's true because the Bruins capitalize on their chances when they go on the power play. The Leafs do not. So, yes, it is. It is the story of the series so far. It's been a little frustrating, man.
More. That game was really frustrating, and it really can't keep happening. I'll probably have a video coming for you tomorrow on some of the things that need to be fixed. But just an absolute heartbreaker. I was almost going to title this as heartbreaking, but we're not there yet. It's, it was heartbreaking, but can't keep happening. The power play needs to lock in. There's no point of just continuing to hit it over and over. It's bad. It needs to be better. And, if they lose this series, there's going to be some massive changes to the team. which is I know some Leafs fans out there want that to happen because they want things. Fire Boucher at season end. Yeah, he's gone. He's probably gone anyways, unless they win the cup. Matthews seemed to be lost tonight. Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't say
the team.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, he didn't score, but I wouldn't say he looked lost. I feel like he was kind of
still playing great defense, he's playing a good two-way game. I mean, he didn't score, so I guess it's not the best game that he's played. But no one really scored. I mean, aside from Bertuzzi and Matthew Nyes on a great play, like that was the highlight. I thought they were ready to rock and roll after that unbelievable play by Joel Edmondson. Like, he's been the star of this show aside from Austin Matthews, which is hilarious. He's played great all 3 games.
Two guys I love to interject tonight. Just things that I think that aren't I don't know what the word is, like sexy, that people like pay attention to, is David Kampf and Pontus Holmberg. Like, the way they help and support the defense in their own zone defensively. If you really pay attention to it, like, they were fantastic tonight. And the fact that they still lost based on special teams really sucks, because I feel like those guys in supporting roles like that, I thought they had a great night. So that stuff sucks. But I wouldn't say Matthews looked lost. If he doesn't score, it doesn't mean he had a terrible game. I thought he still played well defensively, and you're not going to score every game, even though we've become accustomed to that. But Austin Matthews, hopefully he'll, I don't know, track record says he'll score next game. So that'll be fun to keep an eye on.
Another donation.
Oh, wow.
Blake Sim. Shout out to you, Blake. Thank you. Throw up the super chat animation again. Thank you so much for all your guys' support here. This has been a sad stream, but it's been a great stream. The question is, how do we solve Swayman? Are we going to do the strategy we did last playoffs against Tampa? Get people in front of the net and subscribe to Leafs Digest. Love your videos. Thank you so much, Blake. Yeah, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all that. We're going live after every game. I don't know if I'm going to be able to swing Saturday's game, but we'll be there for as many as we possibly can, at the very least. And if not, we'll get something out the day after, like we always do early. How are they going to beat Jeremy Swayman? Power play.
Score on the power play. From what I've seen, I wouldn't say it's similar to Vasilevsky last year, because the Leafs really found that hole in Tampa's defense, and we're like, okay, he cannot see from the point, so we're going to shoot from the point. I don't know if that's necessarily the case for Swayman, just because of the way the Bruins play defense. It's different than Tampa. Tampa had a different structure. So they have to find a way. I don't know what that is, and I don't get paid to know what that is. So they have to find that, right? And they have to find it quickly. And like I said, they'll have a practice here in the next few days. They got to work on the power play and some other things. And one of them is that. How do you score on Swayman? Because even tonight, his lateral movement, because that's what I was thinking, like maybe if you can get him side to side, they're passing in front. He's still saving them, or he'll get his stick in the way, like the one play Mitch Marner was in front alone and nobody was covering him. He gets a stick in the way. Great play by Swayman. I just don't know how you beat this guy. So they got to figure it out. They really have to look at the tape, and I don't know what it is exactly, but I think that's going to be a huge talking point. It's going to be that and power play.
I think the day off is good for them, or the extra day off, I should say. Yeah, I think it's going to give them some time to figure some stuff out. Figure some stuff out. Shout out to everyone in here. Let's try to get to 20 likes. I know, people aren't inclined to like because the Leafs are not playing didn't have a very good game today. And the sad thing is they played bad, and they could have easily stole it. They could have easily stole this game, and we could be having a whole different conversation. Games are fixed by the league horde refing. The refing was really bad. But would it have mattered? 0 for 5 in the power play? Maybe.
If the Leafs got one power play all night, then I might be on that side. Yeah. I'd be like, all right, this game was ridiculous.
It's the domino effect, though. I guess you could say if this happened, this happened. Yeah. But 0 for 5 in the power play, they'd make
score a goal. Yeah. Get literally one. If you went 1 for 5, that's still not great, but you had a goal. Yeah, it's a tie game.
To bet Swayman, we need to increase the pace of the power play. Yeah, Swayman's probably going to come back out there on Saturday, and rest won't be an issue anyways because they're going to be off Thursday and Friday. So I'd almost guarantee Swayman, but we won't know unless the coach confirms it, and neither coach is confirming anything. And the scary thing is that this was Andrew Peeke was out. They had a few guys out. Yeah. Unfortunate. I mean, obviously Nylander's out. He's one of our best players. So it's like
Lohrei came in for Peeke, and he messed up a couple of times. He took a penalty. I think he actually took 2 penalties, and that's exactly what you want. The inexperienced guy is getting in trouble, and the Leafs couldn't capitalize on it. It's a huge story for this game. I just wanted to say too that the real Shakes, he said that net front presence and shots is needed for next game. Look at how Bertuzzi, he didn't score. Morgan Riley got it, but Bertuzzi's crashing the net, and it's a shot on goal. We didn't see that all game, and then it finally happens. They scored. So yes, I would agree with that. The Leafs play a lot of perimeter hockey, and it doesn't work in the playoffs. So they need to fix that as well.
Yeah,
get to the net.
It's almost it's almost like similar to the Toronto Blue Jays in the sense of they need their stars to actually perform, and if they want to go somewhere, and the stars aren't really performing. And I mean, Matthews, aside from Matthews, he's doing all he can, but like you're paying these guys. I mean, I guess in this lineup at this point, with Nylander out, you can't really make. I mean, Mitch Marner is the one to call out here, I guess, but like they need Nylander back, and they need him back. Whether that's to get it out of the mentals, whether it's for him to. He's a great player, and it's it's painful. It's so painful.
I feel like if he came back, it would, like you said, it would be really good for the mentals of all the players. Like it would really juice them up to play well. Like they would be feeling good.
Darius, you got someone who loves your hat. $2.79. Blake.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you.
The hat is fire. The hat is fire.
Yes. I was surprised I found one with the Leafs logo, I have to be honest. I just had this idea for streams for the hat.
It's glued on.
It's actually stitched on, but not well. But yeah, I thought it was going to be like glued on, or maybe it's like glue it on yourself type thing, but no, it's stitched on. It's actually pretty good. But
Blue Jays lost again. Yeah. I'm on Blue Jays Digest as well, and I'm in ultimate pain. This is
ultimate.
Jays lost.
You're feeling it tonight.
Leafs lost. Jays lost yesterday. It's just all bad. Stars had to perform.
Toronto sports.
Yeah, I've been experiencing it for. It reminds me of the Jays. This literally reminds me of the Jays. It's very similar. Can't perform in the playoffs. Yeah. You are correct. Stars had to perform. Nylander is essential. Yeah, like realistically, we're probably understating the importance of William Nylander just for the rest of the team because he really elevates everyone. He slides everyone. Doesn't slide everyone down like a basketball roster or anything like that, but like his impact will be seen across the board from every single player, even if it's just mentally. I keep mentioning the domino effect, but he'd help the power play. He'd help the first line, the second line, naturally, even if it's just confidence, it would just help them knowing Nylander's back, comfortable. The power play would be more comfortable with Nylander. It's all crazy. Love the content, boys. Thank you so much, Shakes. Have fun editing, sir.
Yeah, all that, and I have to say, for the power play at least, right now you have one shooter, and it's Austin Matthews. If you add Nylander back, that's two shooters. They're just kind of covering Matthews right now, and I'm not saying that's the whole issue, but Mitch Marner doesn't shoot. Then you have two net front guys like Bertuzzi and Tavares. You need another shooter on that power play, and Nylander would help with that big time.
Yeah. I think that's it, Darius. I don't know if I have anything else to say right now. I'm kind of fired up.
No, I think much to work on and much to, I don't know, think about the next couple of days for Sheldon Keefe and his staff. I mean, the power play the entire series, it wasn't just tonight. Like, it's got to be fixed. And you need moments out of your big guys, and you're not getting them. You got one last game out of Matthews, but we need more consistent moments like that. I'm glad Matthew Nye scored too, but more. You need more, and that's the story. That is the story.
Without that Matthews goal yesterday, we'd be looking at maybe a 3-0 deficit, which would have been impossible to come back from. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. We'll have video for you tomorrow, probably discussing this power play thing more in depth and any other news that comes out. But very good stream, probably our best stream. Obviously, we have only done a few. Shout out to the 81 people in here. If anyone wants to leave any final thoughts, hit the like button on your way out here. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? I feel like we're talking about the same thing now because it was one major issue, and we're definitely going to cover that in a video tomorrow. But any final thoughts from anyone before we dip out and pray that they can go ahead and take care of business in Game 4, which is
why don't we do some predictions here, Nick, while we wait for any last thoughts? What do you think is going to happen here in Game 4?
Okay, I'm going to be I said Leafs in 6. I'm going to go. I think they're going to win. Let's just stick with one just for Game 4 because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here because anything could happen. I think they win Game 4 5-2.
Bold. I'm going to go with 2-1 for the Leafs in Game 4. It's going to be tight again, and I feel like the Leafs are having trouble scoring.
Blake, see you next game, 279. We will see you next game. We should be here for stream. I think one of us will be at the very least. And
we'll have some content.
Yeah, if not, we'll have a video the morning after of some sorts breaking it down. Obviously, the Saturday night games are because we're all watching the games ourselves at different places. But if we're not here for the game, then we'll have a video for you immediately Sunday, and then we'll definitely be there for the stream. I'll be in Toronto, actually, so I'll who knows where I'll be, but Darius will hold it down if not. I'll be Tuesday, Game 5. We'll be in Maple Leaf. You won't be, I don't think. But
Maple Leaf Square.
I'll be in Maple Leaf Square. So I don't know if anyone is going. If anyone in chat now is going to the game on Tuesday in Maple Leaf Square, let me know. Let me know right now, and if not, I'm sure we'll have another. I'll mention it in the video, I'm sure, but we will be. Well, you won't be. You might be there. We'll have to see.
We'll see.
But I'll be there. I'll be in the I'll be Maple Leaf Square for Game 5, and hopefully it was an away game, so hopefully that's not a do or die game for the Leafs when they're down 3-1, because that would be absolutely painful. But content's going to be coming either way, and it's going to be flowing from different places, because I might not be in where I am right now, which is not Toronto. Final thoughts: support Leafs Digest any way possible. If you can't donate, join us. Remember, like, subscribe, or comment. Shane,
thank you,
we appreciate you. Hopefully you had a good night at the. We saw you were going to. I forget the name of the place.
He was going to a restaurant, I believe.
Restaurant for the game on the big TV. Hopefully you had a good night doing that. It was not a great game to watch, but it was fun. It was actually a very good hockey game.
Watch. Yeah,
it was a great hockey game. It's just if you were like a fan of not the Maple Leafs, the definition of doing insanity is the same thing. Expecting a different result. Power play. This means you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Boucher's gone. He's probably
it's definitely possible. Not a great track record this season, but
Chuck's,
I think that's.
I don't know where that is. I don't live in Toronto.
Yeah, Chuck's Roadhouse.
Darius from Toronto.
Yeah, but I think they gotta work on the power play. It's true. Like, try doing the same thing over and over and over again. It doesn't work, and you continue to do it. No, you got to change something. Let's get it going here.
Let's lock it in. Let's wake up.
Lock in Maple Leafs.
Up. All right. Well, that's a good one. Shane, if you're in Toronto next week, I'll be in there, so maybe we can meet up for something. But that'll wrap it up. Shout out to everyone in here. The streams are getting better, Darius. Even if they get eliminated, we're going to be doing these weekly or something like that, kind of going over, because there's going to be a lot to talk about, whether the Leafs, either if they win or they lose. But
if they win, there'll be games to talk about. If they lose, there's going to be a lot of drama. There'll be a lot of stuff to talk about.
Sheldon Keefe's probably gone first, but we'll let that happen. Game 4 is a few days, so let's take it easy for a few days. Not us, we'll make videos, but as a fan, let's relax, lock back in, get the arena loud. Let's be positive. Let's be positive going into Game 4, because I think the Maple Leafs got something brewing, and hopefully they can do that. But thank you guys, everyone, for tuning in. Shout out to each and every one of you, and we will see you